But before we close out this week, we had Smackdown last week make its debut on the USA Network. WWE rolled out the red carpet, the fact that they are on USA Network, a channel they've been on for a million years, a channel that they can't wait to get off of from a Monday Night Raw perspective and go over to Netflix. So while they're not necessarily talking bad about USA in any way, but clearly they know that Netflix is a bigger platform and they can't wait to get there. But at the same time, it's weird because SmackDown, they couldn't wait to get to USA off of what I consider a bigger platform, Fox. So my question to you quickly, and I pose this question out there as well, is the better debut, the more impactful debut. Sorry about that. The more impactful debut, though. Which was it? SmackDown in 2019 on Fox when Brock Lesnar beat Kofi Kingston and became the new champion, or this past week on the USA Network? Which debut do you think was bigger? Which debut gives you more hope for the future?
Honestly, I would say the most recent one, and I know it's recency biased, but we've talked about it earlier where WWE is in a better place these days than they were even 5 years ago. So for me, I would have to say that. I thought it was a good SmackDown. I did watch the entire show. I thought it was really good. We got to see the dynamic between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, which to me, who would have thought they were arch enemies, just a few months back, and now they're tag team partners. Like it's a whole thing right now. And I thought the show was pretty good. And I will say a small critique, for somebody who is a person who buys. I have Hulu. So I don't always watch the Raws and SmackDowns and NXTs live. I will watch it back later, sometimes on Hulu, which I know is more of a condensed version, which sometimes works for my schedule. What has happened recently, because of that change, SmackDown is no longer available for Hulu subscribers unless you buy the super expensive live TV package. So that's another thing that I wanted to throw out there as well. So that's a little bit of a downside of the USA Network portion of it versus Fox. But overall, WWE's in a better place. I thought it was a good show. I liked the way they started it, and I liked the way they finished it. It was to me, it was a good show to kick off that USA partnership.
I do kind of miss Fox in the way that it's undoubtedly right. The reason that WWE is excited to go to Netflix for Raw is because that's the bigger platform, right? So it's undoubtedly, I know the WWE is trying to sell whatever they are putting out there for sale, but and Michael Cole even said it, I think, in a vignette package. Going over to Fox, at the end of the day, we became numb to it and we became used to it, and they did the bleeping of the crowd, and it became like that where we got a little like we can't wait for a change. But you forget when WWE went over to Fox, that was one of the biggest moves in, I want to say, even like in decades. I mean, moving over to network television, and not just network television like UPN or the CW, but like one of the major networks in the United States of America, a channel where they were cross promoting with the NFL, with Major League Baseball, with NASCAR, with the Super Bowl, with the top television shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and all of those major things that happen on Fox. College football, whatever, right? It is definitely, I remember, I'm not saying, I feel like I was more hyped after, I guess, the Fox debut, because WWE, and you're going to hate me for it, but when they moved over to Fox, they brought in a new set. We obviously saw that set die once COVID happened, and then they went back to the generic Raw and SmackDown shared set at the Performance Center and never brought the set back. But they brought out a new set, and that just kind of was part of the rebirth. The show took place from Staples Center in Los Angeles, which also was part of the big glitz and the glamour of it. Obviously, like people like Brock Lesnar being advertised to be on the card was a major thing, and they really rolled out the red carpet to make WWE mainstream. The USA show was a good show, and it helped wrestling fans, and it provided a good wrestling match for Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes in what we were excited to see there. But I think from like an outsider's perspective, I think WWE on Fox was a huge deal. And I remember even like watching SmackDown, I think on like Christmas on Fox, like after an NFL football game. And it felt really big. And one thing that WWE is going to try to recreate that bigness, because they know how big it is, because come December, They're bringing back Saturday Night Main Event. It's coming back, and it's coming from the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. I can't wait for that. I think that's WWE's answer to the fact that Royal Rumble is until February. So some sort of bridge between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, like a 2-month gap without a
Are you
pay-per-view.
going?
I don't know yet, because as we talk about WWE, while they're hot as hell, the prices for things are starting to go from, you can attend all the time to you got to be a little more scrutinous, because the prices for things are just out of this world for every ticket. Bad Blood, I was considering to fly down for the day, you know what I mean? But the ticket prices are like, wow. Vancouver, I was even considering. It's a long weekend, you know what I mean? There's nonstop flights from nearby here out to Vancouver. But ticket prices are like, wow. Saturday Main Event, right? We'll see. Obviously, I think they'll probably sell out immediately, so I'm not going to buy my ticket then. But we'll see what the tickets are later after the sellout, and see if it's like, wow, I can go to 5 Raws for the price of one Saturday Main Event. Is it really worth that? Obviously, with the Royal Rumble on the horizon coming and WrestleMania coming on the horizon, I got to be a little more, I guess you would say, picky when it comes to which events I'm going to. I'd like to go to all of them. And every time I buy a ticket for something, they turn around and they're advertising another show that I'm like, I got to go to that. But we're getting to a point where, yeah, you got to be a little more picky. Because last September, I went to the pay-per-view in Pittsburgh, and I paid like $50 to go to Payback. And Bad Blood, the cheapest ticket right now to get in is over $200. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to start not being like green shirt guy. And even if I'm sitting in the nosebleeds, I can't be green shirt guy, and I got to be a little more disconcerting with what I'm attending, and kind of picky and choosy with what I'll go to. But hey, it's out there. It's on the docket to go to. But if you're looking, when it comes to, we talk about money, and this is what I like to say is a great thing, and I'm glad this exists. The week before Survivor Series at the American Dream Mall, which, as many people know, is in East Rutherford. It's a part of the MetLife Stadium complex. GCW putting on a event at 2 p.m. on November the 23rd involving Kurt Angle and Mick Foley and Matt Cardona and all the stars of GCW. The reason's at 2 p.m. because right down the street that night at 8 p.m. from the Newark's Prudential Center, AEW Full Gear. So for the price of attending GCW in the afternoon and an AEW pay-per-view at night, probably would be the price of me attending one Smackdown. So, and that's a full day of wrestling and all that. You know what I mean? So, you start to look at that a little bit more of some options. While obviously WWE is great, and I want to attend all the WWE shows. I guess I got to be a little more picky and choosy when it comes to those things, because their revenue's through the roof, because their prices are through the roof, right? So